Hey guys, give me a 5 for 5 and we'll get rolling. Good to see everybody. Hope everybody's doing well today. Hey Diane, hey Missy, what's happening? Christopher, Kim Possible, Mark Matheny's in the house. You get the cookie, you get the prize today. First one in. Heck yeah. Sharon, Kim Possible, Brittany, 5 for 5. Sweet. What's up, Linda? Hey, hold it down in the Bronx, baby. That's right, Angelo. Keep her going. Keep her going. Diane, what's happening? Digna. All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and just jump into it. We've definitely had some solar weather, and we'll get into that in just a second. So, here we go. So, we got the Schumann Resonance. Not really much going on here, guys. You see kind of like an overall background noise. Yeah. Okay. It's a little bit of a increase in hertz level over there, a little bit more intensity. This is it. This is the Russian tool, so please keep that in mind. There's a bunch of them around the planet. I know I say that every video, but that's basically for the new people. So, cool. Savannah, Georgia, heck yeah. Like it, Debbie, like it. Third Time Productions, what's happening? Canada, that's right. Love back to you for sure. All right. So, if you've seen the thumbnail, obviously there's a CME coming, and I do think that this one is going to hit us. And there's been a little bit of a, well, they've been missing things as far as their date, their timing, whether the stuff. But what I want to say here is, almost every CME we've had this year that said that it could be impacting Earth, the key word there is could. And what I'm saying is, you probably heard it not just from me, but from a lot of different people that report on this. We're talking like, a sideways glancing blow. I think one time this year I might have said, hey, this thing is going to hit us head on. And I've also prefaced that by saying that, geomagnetic storms would be low level. It wouldn't be some big, humongous G5 storm. So that's why, when they were talking about this other one that we were supposed to have, they were talking about a G2 back on the 28th, guys. It started on the 27th. They moved it back a day. And typically when it gets moved back a day, that means it's moving slower than what they thought. And usually that means less of an impact on our magnetic field. So whenever you see them do that, and I get, listen to me on this one. I get the fact, like, this is the Enlil model, right? People wonder, well, why do they change this all the time? I've explained that quite a few times here, and I'm going to do it again. And what I'm saying is that this is much like your local on the 8s, on your weather channel, right? What do I mean by that? Well, they get the stuff, as close as they can when they're forecasting. We get that, right? But at the same time, we got to understand that they're not always going to get it right. And when they change this, I'm glad they do. They've done it since they put this tool out. They're forecasting 5 days in advance. So, again, when you look at your local weather forecast, even an app on your phone, how many times do you look at it at, say, 8 o'clock, you look at it again at 8:15, and things have changed so much it's like ridiculous, right? Well, imagine taking that to space weather, trying to forecast something that's coming from 93 million miles away. I mean, come on. That's what I'm trying to say. Hopefully you guys understand that. But here on the Enlil model, guys, this is those CMEs. So let me, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so we can get you in there a little closer. Now, I'm going to back this up because there's actually more than one, but the one is the only one that's going to hit us. And we'll take a look at the NASA model too. This is Space Weather Prediction Center, NOAA, and this is their forecasting, right? So when you see this one match up with NASA, typically that means it's pretty close to correct. Plus, you can use your own visual eyes and look at SDO and all the other tools we look at here. And, I would have said the same thing with this one. I really would have. I would have agreed this time. So anyway, when we're moving here, and I agree quite a bit, but I tend to kind of back off showing this stuff that far in advance because I always have to come back on here and be like, hey guys, they changed it. So I usually wait. Till about right here. I don't want to come out here and start screaming, hey, geomagnetic storm, and I'm not really like jumped out there and did that like that this year, but I've already said, hey, we're going to get geomagnetic storms, there's a chance of it, and then nothing ever happens. So I'm not going to do that anymore. I don't want to come out here and keep crying, that kind of thing, and then it'll fall on deaf ears when it does happen. So, but this time, I really think that we got a strong chance of catching this one. So as we move forward here, look at your top-down spiral right here. This is a side cut. So as we move forward here, you can kind of see there's an ejection right there, right? And then you'll see shortly thereafter, boom, there's another one. Okay, notice how the second one is moving way faster than that first one. It catches up with it. See that? And it almost just kind of becomes one. So it did it back here, which is far enough away that we're not going to see any kind of interplanetary shockwave from that. It would have already happened. Yes, minimal effect on Earth. 100% agree, Anthony. 100%. So, and what I'm saying here, as this gets right there, okay, that's when they're talking about it impacting. You can see it down here on the velocity also. But the density here, what they're forecasting, is quite high. Okay, that's not, we need to pay attention to that. That's quite high. That's 50. Okay, what's like normal ambient conditions? We would say 4. That's about where it usually hangs out. Now, just because that it's 50 doesn't mean that our magnetic field ain't going to handle it. Okay, which I absolutely think it's going to, and I don't think we're going to see much more than a G1, maybe outside chance of a G2. Okay, and you can go in and look at the models yourselves, which I've shown you guys how to get to these, and please go look. Don't take my word for any of this. Please go look. So I wanted to show you that. Now that's again, why is this black? Well, if you look at your key on the left there, you see that the more dense plasma that's showing is in black. That's why. Also, this one was very, very wide. Okay, so when it gets out there and it gets wide, obviously it's going to affect more things. But oftentimes when they blow out wide like this one did, they're not as impactful because they're not concentrated plasma. Okay, we've seen like what looks like balls blow off the sun of plasma, and essentially that's what it is. And if when those things do impact us, we definitely take a hard hit from that. A lot harder than what we typically would. So when this stuff spreads out, kind of like buckshot, because that's what it looks like to me. I mean, in my own head, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. But even as it passes Earth, watch what it does. It even spreads out even more. See that? So right here, you're looking at top to bottom, So it does get, it's a pretty wide one, is what I'm trying to say. And it is going to cover quite a bit of area. So, and again, like I said, most of the time when that happens, it lends itself to a lesser impact on us. Not always, but sometimes. Now, if you look at the Discover, well, before we go to that, I want to go back up here for a minute. I just kind of skipped over a little bit of stuff. So here is the X-ray flux. We are getting, small little flares. When that one blew off, we had I think it was a C2 flare. That was the flare part. Remember, they're different. The CME blew off after, or roughly at the same time, but they're different. X-rays are here and gone. That happens in almost 8 minutes. So, oh, you're all good, Angelo. You hang in there, man. So, anyway, with the X-rays, we're not getting anything like M-class flares. We don't see anything that's pointing towards that right now either. So, that's not saying that it can't happen, but that is saying that the chances of it are pretty low. Hey, Mama, what's up? So, anyway, you got a geomagnetic activity down here. Now, remember I said they were talking about maybe the possibility of a geomagnetic storm. And we did get into that coronal hole stream, and you can clearly see how we kind of raised our level geomagnetically, and we kind of hung out there for almost a couple days. But we never did get that little extra bump from that sideways CME I think it completely missed us. If it didn't, it just barely touched us, and it wasn't that strong. So, but we also have coronal holes facing us now. This one, again, that's significant. Now, we did see the wind speed pick up, guys, and I showed that to you guys, right? So that coronal hole stream from this definitely affected us. Not this one. The other ones were already rotated off. It may have even like closed back up. But this here is definitely something that we're probably connected to it right now still. So you can look at the wind speed as it rises, and you're going to know whether or not and how it gets here. And we get waves of density. There's technical things there that you can really dive into to try to diagnose: is this really a coronal hole stream, or is it a CME, or is it both? And oftentimes it ends up being both, but other times it's just a coronal hole stream. And those, you're going to see that with coronal hole streams, those are the ones that are really going to give us geomagnetic storms most often. Hey, Bubba News. So let's go over here to the CME tracker. Well, before I do that, Aurora, it definitely is upticking right now a little bit, again, because we are experiencing some geomagnetic activity. Nothing big. All right. I'll show you the C flare here on this one. This is the absorption graph for X-ray. So as we keep moving here, see that? That's it right there. That's all the bigger it got. That's the X-ray part. That's the flare part that hit us. Okay? So I think there might have been a secondary one right there. See that? That's probably the one that had the CME. The one before that was a smaller flare, and that might have been that first one I showed you guys on the Enlil spiral. So, with that being said, okay, so discover. What do we got here? Density, right? Remember I said 4 is what we consider the high end of normal on the density. And that's exactly what you're seeing here, right around 4. Now, I call this popcorn. You guys have heard me say that before. And what I mean by that is, when this thing plots a point. It's a dot. So when conditions are fluctuating, they're going to be up, down, all over the place, right? And it causes this, what looks like a kid took a marker and went bip, 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 all over the graph, right? So I just call it popcorn. All that means is that conditions are fluctuating. That's it. Now, when you see the straight lines back here, that means the data points are actually kind of lining up. So that means conditions are very stable at that position. So they look more like straight lines. Our BZ hasn't even hardly dipped below, 0. So again, that angle isn't really correct to give us a really good hard blow. Now, again, you got the wind speed in purple, and this right here shows you that we most certainly got above normal. It's 3 to 500 is normal. So that's that coronal hole stream, possibly a little bit of a sideways blow from that CME, but nothing intense. And that's why, guys, I know I didn't do a video for the past couple days. I've been doing a lot of other stuff, but that's one of the reasons why I didn't feel like I needed to jump out here and do something real quick. Because I wasn't quite sure whether or not this was going to be an issue, and it turned out not to be. So, obviously, if I started seeing conditions like spike, I would most definitely pop out here and let you guys know. But I want you guys to understand that. That's why sometimes, you hear a lot of other people start talking about one specific thing. And I hate to hear people say stuff like, oh my gosh, we're in trouble now. And then nothing ever happens. Because, number one, it confuses people. Number two, it makes that person that said that look quite ridiculous, if you want my opinion. They slowly lose their credibility for whatever credibility they had to begin with. So basically they're sensationalizing things. And when you do that, it never works out. Yeah. So we're just going to move on from that. But here is the magnetopause models. Again, velocity here on the top. You're seeing little waves of things come in. Nothing, again, nothing big is happening here, right? Now this is density. Again, when you get higher density, that means typically means slower wind speed. And when you get the lower density, that means typically higher wind speed. So there you go. But yeah, so as you got the magnetic pressure down here, this is kind of what we talk about. Most people understand what pressure is. So this really does kind of hammer home the point of what's actually happening. And you're not seeing a whole lot, guys. I mean, there's just not really nothing really much going on around our planet on that end of it. Now this is seeds. So let me show you the CME. Okay, there's quite a few actually, to be honest with you. But see that one? That's what we call a partial halo. Remember what a halo is? It looks like it goes all the way around the occulter, right? But you can definitely see the partial halo right there. So that's that bigger one. The other ones, I don't think are going to affect us at all. Even if they were coming right at us, I don't know that they would affect much at all, because they just weren't that strong. This is today. We had another one blow off, and this is all coming from that same sunspot. And it's actually starting to decay. It's actually starting to weaken, I guess, if you want to use those terms. Plus, it's rotating off. It's not going to be facing us much longer. So, we won't have to worry about that one for a minute. So, let's go look at stereo A. And when we look at stereo A, again, this is our side view. Now, you can see it here, obviously. So I want to show you guys something. I'll go over this real quick. So this is our side view. Stereo A is here where my cursor is. Earth would be over here. But there's an angle involved here too. So if I show you from our view, which is SOHO, right here, it looks like it's going to the right, correct? And then if I show you from the side view, stereo A, it looks like it's going to the right. So how do we know where it's going? Well, that's if they're both going the same direction like that, we can't really, like, just from these two, we can give a pretty good idea, but we need to look at SDO or SOHO itself, the extreme ultraviolet one. And so we'll do that real quick. But before we do that, I do want to show you let me show you this real quick. Okay, you guys see that, right? This is just a little model I put together a while back, and I showed it to you guys already before, but just to give you an idea where stereo A is at in relation to the Earth, right? And this one actually works out well because this green cone is representing a CME. Okay, so if we look at it from the side, this is what it would look like from stereo A's perspective, the one I just showed you, two-dimensionally, right? This is stereo A, and here's Earth. This is a CME. Looks like it's coming right at Earth right here, right? Well, look. It's not. Okay? And I use this to show people why we look at different angles. This is three-dimensional. The other stuff I was showing you was two-dimensional. That's why you can't really just pinpoint an exact direction unless you take this into consideration. So when we're looking at SOHO, we're looking from right here. Right? We're behind the Earth. So when we're looking at stereo A, we're looking from right here. So from SOHO's perspective, it's going to the right. From stereo's perspective, it's going to the right. But this particular CME, not the one we're dealing with now, this one's not even hitting us. But it looks like it's going to blast us there, doesn't it? So that's why it's important to know that the direction in your perspective. Okay? So I just wanted to bring that to you. I hope hope that wasn't too confusing, I guess. I try to make it as simple as I can. But you know. Oops. Sorry about that, guys. You guys got me back there. Sorry. Didn't mean to do that. Let me Okay, yeah, we're back. All right. So, yeah. So this is stereo A's perspective, and yes, it's a substantial CME. So let's go look at NASA. This is that same Enlil spiral. Now here's their version of it, right? So you can definitely see where it's hitting us. Earth is here, Earth is here, Earth is over here, right? Top down view on your left, side cut in the middle, and our orbit stretched out in a straight line on the right. This red box is stereo A. Right here. Okay? So you can see how even though it's not the like dead smack in the middle, you can definitely see that this thing looks like we're going to catch the side of it. And with all the models of green right now, I really think that this one probably will at least impact. Now, how hard it hits us, that's to be, just have to wait, I don't think, I'm not going to come out here and say it's a huge one because I don't think that it is. I don't think it's all that powerful. It's substantial in size, but I don't think it's as powerful as big as it is, right? So it's hitting us on the top-down view, the side view, and this one. You'll see it blurry right here. Watch. See that? And you can see how it just barely, clips us there. So I do think that that's what's going to happen, guys. All right? It's just my opinion. So let's go over here to SDO. This is the 211. Remember, it's down here. Now, did you guys see that little shock wave? Okay, I know you did. So let me back that off to give us a better view of it. I'm going to pause it. And you'll see it right here. And you'll actually see the first one too. So let's back it up. There's kind of that first one. See it? Okay. Now here's the bigger one. So back here is the small one. Actually, I think that might be the big one. I wasn't looking at the timestamp. It could be. Hold on a minute. Let me check. They look very, very similar, by the way. Yeah, that's the big one. I didn't go back far enough. Anyway, you'll watch this, what they call a shockwave, go across the sun, or you can call it a solar tsunami. That's really what it is. It's going across the whole surface of the sun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it, slow it down. And I'll bring it back here, and we'll do it this way. See, watch. See that? See how far out it went? And then you're going to start seeing other pops all over the place. So the sun is active right now. You can definitely see the bright regions. A lot of those are sunspots. But you can also see the coronal holes. So all that stuff means that we're definitely going to have some space weather. I really do truly think that. So now here's your aurora again. Again, I'm not even going to show you guys that right now because, yeah. I mean, they are getting some aurora. I've seen some pictures and stuff, but yeah. So let's go to the earthquakes. We did have a 6 over here in Japan. That's probably the biggest one of the day, I would think. So far, anyway. There's quite a few of them out here. Again, we had one. Where was that bigger one at? I forget. I have to go back and look. But again, it was in Greece. That was the other day, and it was significant and happened in a populated area. So anyway, hey Linda, what's up? So guys, that's really the space weather. There's really not much else to show you here other than let's go over here to spaceweather.com. Always like to show them because they need some love. Give them as much love as you can. Go check them out. And obviously they're showing the same thing I just did. Okay, this is the 193 angstrom, I believe. Did they use that? Yep, they use SDO. So that's the 193. And you can definitely see how that thing really did. And you can see how big it was as far as size. It covered a large area, is what I'm trying to say. And it was not only was it latitudinal, which is horizontal, it was also vertical. So it kind of spread out quite a bit. How do I know that? Well, if you go over to seeds and look at it from the side, you can tell north-south, right? So that definitely is covering us north-south. And we know that it's stretched out far enough that it's probably going to hit us. And again, that would be on October 1st. That's their forecasting. Now, again, that's, first off, I will say that that's plus minus 7 hours. So if we go over here and we look at NOAA, they're forecasting up here. I would encourage everybody to do this. You can see 29th, 30th, and early in the day, G1. Okay? Now, they will give you a percentage of the chance of that happening if you go through here and you read their report. I think that one was like a, I don't really want to speculate there. I think if I remember what I read, I think it said like a 45% chance. But again, those chances will be adjusted as the days go on. And that's, we really need to appreciate that. Because, if they just showed us this and then just forgot about it and just said, that's what we told them already, it was not an update, even though we have more data. You know what I mean? So it'd be kind of ridiculous to think that they wouldn't adjust these when things come in differently. So that's kind of what I'm saying here. Something else that I can show you guys is, let me bring it out here real quick. This is the storm levels. Okay, if you guys ever come over here, again, it's NOAA. It's NOAA's space weather scales. You can get to all this stuff down here at the bottom of any NOAA page over there. Okay? You can find all the tools and stuff pretty much right there. You can get this stuff too. Now, this is radio blackouts. I'm not going to talk about that right now. So I will let's collapse that one. And we'll open up the geomagnetic storm one. So this is telling you what you can expect. All right. So for a G1, weak power grid fluctuations, minor impact on satellite operations. What that means is sometimes there can be like surface charging, and it could cause the navigation of it to kind of mess up a little bit, and they have to, correct it. And this is one that people really need, that you can actually look at without having to look at anything else. Migratory animals are affected at higher levels. So, yeah, this affects animals. This, we know that animals tend to navigate magnetically. We know this. That's a fact. So, yeah. But something else I want to point out here. And this right here is going to show you why I despise it when people blow this stuff out of proportion. They'll say a G1. Oh, we got trouble coming. We better pay attention. G1, G1, G1. Guys, look at this. This is the number of times a G1 happens in a cycle. In a 900-day cycle, that happens 1,700 times. 1,700 per cycle. My bad. So that's an 11-year period, roughly. Okay? It's not exact. But what I'm saying is 1,700 times. Now, that doesn't, I'm not sure if they actually, if that's the impact we feel, or if it's just, I would assume it would have to be. Because that's what they're representing here. Is a geomagnetic storm here. So 1,700 times that happens. Now, up here, you got it goes up, right? So you got 600 per cycle, then 200 per cycle, 100 per cycle, and 4 times per cycle. You see a KP of 9, which is a G5 storm. So that's the amount of times we can expect this to happen during normal conditions. So this stuff does happen. So when somebody comes out here and starts screaming like this is something odd, man, really, really pay attention to that, guys. Please. Because it does lend to the effect of what they're trying to do. Why blow this out of proportion? Why? It makes no sense to me. Now, again, I have to preface that by saying I used to think these were big deals too. But my problem is that, some of those that are out there still doing this, They've been corrected by their own subscribers, and still they won't change. It's sickening to see that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't encourage anybody to get into any kind of conversation in a comment section like that with anybody. Okay, that's not my intent of saying any of that. My intent is so you guys know. That's it. Matter of fact, I would say you're making a mistake if you go, start attacking people on their comment section. I'm not about cancel culture or anything like that. They're allowed to say whatever they want to say. I just want you guys to understand when you hear them say what they say, that this is really probably what we need to be talking about. So my subscribers, the people that I care about, the people that are listening to me, have that understanding. That when they do hear others say that kind of stuff, have that there in their mind, and then they can make, if you want to go and believe what they're saying, cool. I mean, honestly, just look at all of it, but look at it, without being influenced. I'm not trying to influence you. I'm just giving you what I see, and I'm showing you data to support that. So that's why I do this like this. Matter of fact, when I do it like this and you go watch other people, I don't even really have to say much because you'll see it with your own eyes. You will definitely see it. So anyway, we're just going to leave that alone from now on. That will, guys, I know I've been talking about stuff like that lately. I'm backing off of that. You guys aren't here for that. So I'm not going to be doing that anymore. You guys are smart. You guys know when that's happening. It's just when I see it start happening rampant, that's when I get upset and I tend to voice it. In the way that I have. But I'm going to back off of that for a while, okay? Hopefully for good. I don't, just waste of time most of the time unless you guys are getting something from it. And that's my intent. I don't care what they're doing. Whoever else is out there saying whatever, I honestly don't care. They can say what they need to say on their channels and it's all cool. I ain't telling you not to go watch either. Like I said before, I think you can find truth everywhere. So, but do you guys have any questions? But go over here and look at this, and you'll be able to see what we can expect as those numbers rise. All right? Hey, Devon, what's happening? Subversive. Judith, what's happening? Carlos, what's up? Carlos has been around for a while, guys. Carlos Skywatcher. Catches a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool photography he's got over there. But yeah, so with this, I would highly encourage you guys to go look at this because it will give you a good idea of what can happen and what does happen and how many times it's supposed to happen. That's almost bigger in my opinion. And I know I've been saying this a lot lately, but we're all still here, guys. The power's still on. All the stuff is... Earth's magnetic field's handling everything all right, okay? So that's why I'm trying to say this. Hey, Pamela, what's up? What's up, Lee? Katina. Cindy, what's up? Sorry, guys. I know I've been trying to kind of make these a little bit more streamlined. I mean, yeah, we're about 35 in. I'm probably going to go ahead and cut it here in just a minute, but unless you guys got some questions real quick. If you guys got any questions, fire them in there at me and we'll see what we got, okay? A large earthquake might hit. Yes, that's always possible though, right? Do I think the space weather has an effect on earthquakes? I most certainly do. Can I show you the exact science behind it? No, I can't. I'm not really the earthquake guy, guys. I just show it to you because I do think that this is important to look at. I can't predict any kind of earthquakes. I know a lot of people out there do that. Hey, Lee, what's happening? Already said hi to you. Sorry. You might be saying hi back. Vashti, what's up? Shona, what's happening? Let's see here. What did you say there? If all electronics and Starlinks are affected, won't that leave the U.S. sitting ducks for any? Well, let me say this. If the electronics and stuff are affected, Shona, that would be global, most likely. Okay, to the if it was going to get to that level of where it actually knocked out our power and stuff, that would be a global thing. Okay, obviously on the day side of the planet, it's going to take a harder hit when it gets here because we're facing it, right? But a lot of that stuff kind of will get into our global circuit, and it definitely will affect the whole planet. That's why you see sometimes when you see a CME or anything hit the Earth, it's kind of, well, Verte can probably answer that. It kind of ripples through, all right? Obviously, on the dark side of the planet, it's not going to be as strong. Oh, you're welcome, Shona. But, yeah, I would think that if it was going to hit us hard enough to do something like that, I would think that it would affect the rest of the world's satellites also. And you got to understand, too, when we're talking about satellites, those satellites do not sit right over top of the same, unless they're geosynchronistic orbit. Most of those satellites are orbiting our planet. So even though, we could have satellites on one side, that's not even affected by it. Maybe Cindy, I try not to get into those kinds of, when I hear stuff like, she says CME cells of merge and fear is behind a lot of pushing CMEs. I don't know, to be honest. If I'm looking, just kind of looking at it from the outside with really no dog in the fight there, maybe a little. If they know it's, I don't know. Certainly, there's people out there that exploit situations. Okay? So, yeah. Point taken, Mammy. Or Marn. Yeah, I take criticism well, guys. Honestly. Especially when it's said like that. I have a suggestion. Hope it will help. It is not a criticism. Well, yeah, I mean, you can criticize me. That's as long as it's a productive criticism. And that is. Okay? So it would help me if in the opening remarks you would do a very brief description of what most important or urgent things. That's a good point. Yeah. I definitely probably need to focus on that a little bit. So thank you. I definitely will. That's something that I try, and again, everybody that's been with me for a minute knows that I kind of jump around a little bit, and it's not intentional. I don't ever script anything. I probably need to write like an outline down and just have it sit there for me, so I can stay kind of focused. But yes, I actually kind of agree with you there on the fact that people click on a video, and then a lot of people will wait till the end to show them what the thumbnail and the title was saying. And I try my best not to do those kinds of things. If it happens, it's not intentional. But I usually go from left to right on my tabs, and I start with Schumann. You guys can see where I go with it usually. But yes, that's a good suggestion. Hey, Hilly, what's happening, bud? Good to see you. I'm just reading the chat a little bit, guys. Are most CME radio interference only for a short amount of time? Yes, Cindy. Typically, that ends up being a short amount of time. You got to think of what's actually happening. It actually depends. Okay? If we're in a consistent coronal hole stream that's elevated, that means that we've got an extended period of time where it's actually hitting us. But from like a CME that hits us and moves on, typically those events tend to not be all that long. Yeah, for hours. But I think, Verte said it there. He's exactly right. And I think that, for like a coronal hole stream, those can extend depending on how long they hang around. But if you're talking just CME, most definitely that'll hit. It'll last for hours and then it'll go away. Yeah. Yes. You got to understand. Verte says it too. The effects can last longer than the event itself. Most certainly. Most certainly. Yeah, for sure, I can do that, Marn. For sure, I can do that. I have been putting timestamps, guys, down in my description. Like if I have a longer intro, like say, where I put music and stuff out there, and I show you guys a certain amount of things. Always look in the description, because I'll put like a timestamp in there to skip past all that. If you're just here to get the data and roll out, and I appreciate that. So you guys can just click on that timestamp, and it'll take you right to that point in the video. That, YouTube has done some things with what they call chapters. You can actually enable chapters, and you can block it out, and people just click on the chapter. Most of you guys probably see it on your where you can drag the line back and forth of the video. You'll see little hash marks right there, and you can click on those chapters. Gina, flares, the CMEs with the flares possibly. Typically, though, that it has to be pretty substantial. You got to understand when it hits us that it has to get through our magnetic field before it even comes close to us here on the surface. So yeah, the flare is like, yeah, Verte, thank you for answering that for me there. I think I talked about that a little bit earlier too. They're asking about, the flare is here and gone pretty much in 8 minutes. It's traveling at the speed of light. Yeah, well, yeah, you just kind of echoed what I just said. Yep. Yeah, but, some guys, that stuff does hang around our atmosphere, okay? Especially geomagnetic activity. Yes. Anything that, if Hillybilly says, I'd say possible two-way just seems more likely to affect the pacemaker. Yes, because you got to understand I know I've been saying that a lot lately. Sorry about that. When you're talking about magnetism, you got positive and negative, and that's exactly what you're talking about when you're putting a battery in a pacemaker, right? So you're affecting the electronics and stuff there. My grandpa had one, and he wasn't even allowed to be around a microwave. And I know a lot of you guys that had family members, or you yourself had the older style pacemakers, weren't allowed to be around, especially the older microwaves, because the same thing happens. I appreciate that, Gina. Sarah, it varies. The typical time for a CME to get here would be 3 to 5 days. It all matters in the time. Now, that's like an average. Hey, Allison, what's up? But, yeah, we've had CMEs get here in just roughly over a day. What that means is it blew off really, really fast, and that's going to hit us really, really hard. So, yeah. Yeah, I was looking at that, Missy. That was there. Matter of fact, there was a 6.5 up here that was actually there for a minute, and then they pulled it off. I'm not sure if what the reasoning behind that is. You guys can, yeah. I'm not the earthquake guy, so I try not to really comment a whole lot on that. But that did happen. There was a 6.5 up here, and they pulled it down. How do we determine when it will hit us? Well, we have to basically rely on the speed that they're telling us that it's moving. Okay, if you got 93 million miles to the sun, if it blows off the sun, if you know how fast it's moving, then you can use that to calculate the time that it's going to hit us. When? It was earlier, way earlier. I'm talking way earlier. It's not here. It happened. I'm not sure exactly when it happened. I didn't see it. I seen some other people talking about it. So I don't even know. But it's not there. You going to wave as it goes by? That's a good one, Amy. Techno Hippie, what's up? Happy birthday, Fred. Yeah, Yeah, I know Dutch talked about it. There was actually quite a few people out there talking about it. Usually that gets talked about quite a bit when that happens, for obvious reasons. So, but yeah, as far as the earthquake stuff, guys, I mean, I show it to you guys, but I really don't, again, I don't really have a dog in this fight because I just simply don't have the knowledge of it that it takes for me to be able to tell you exactly what's going on and give you any kind of guidance on any of it. Other than to say, I do understand, like, you know, you can clearly see when you get an earthquake, especially, you know, if it happens on one of the boundary lines here, you'll see it. You can see it move, right? You'll see other ones pop up. And typically you'll see them in threes. You'll see one in the middle, and then the energy goes both ways, which is pretty understandable. But you'll see it, and you'll see typically a one that's not really all that, it's not as strong as the initial one, but close. Typically you'll see one on both sides of it. I've noticed that a lot. Now, to say that's, do I have any scientific whatever for that? No, I don't. Not even nothing. That's just me looking at it, an observation. So I'm going to call it that. Hey, Christine, what's happening? Yep. Yeah, guys, something else I want to say real quick. Those of you guys that have been over to Mark Pires' channel, he's struggling with his channel right now as far as what he wants to do and all that kind of thing. So please, give him some support and, throw him some prayers and let him make the right decision for himself. Again, I'm not going to go into details. He actually talked about it in his last live stream. And I've talked to Mark behind the scenes on the phone and stuff. So just keep him in your prayers and all that. Mark Pires, Amy. Christine or Hilly or Bonnie. Hey, Hot Body and Soul. Somebody drop his link in there if you would. I would really, really appreciate it. But yeah, he's at a crossroads a little bit, trying to decide what he wants to do with this channel, right? He's been live for 1,000 days in a row. Longer now, a couple days past that. So, that tends to lean towards burnout, all that stuff, right? So just, have him in your prayers to let him, throw in some positive energy, whatever you do, right? But just keep him in your thoughts, and yeah. And if you can, go give him some support. Go check him out. And that's just what I would say. I hate to see my friends go through stuff like that, but I have to be honest, I went through it myself. There's been quite a few times where I just about shut my channel off. I mean, and I think it's a natural thing that happens, but everybody's decision needs to be the decision they need for themselves. Okay? And I think that's where we fall when it comes, especially when we're talking about our friends. Yeah, good one, Allison. What's the most common application for video conferencing? The most common application for video conferencing would probably be Zoom. And I can tell you this, that Zoom is extremely easy to use. So if anybody is afraid of looking at Zoom or doing Zoom, don't be. I mean, it is so ridiculously crazy to use, simple, that, wow. But yeah, that's video conferencing. If you want to do stuff like that, yeah. Plus, if you're doing Zoom, you can capture it right into OBS and broadcast it. You guys, that's how I did my interview the other day, was with Zoom. So it's really compatible with OBS and all the streaming services. So for sure. Well, Hilly, I can. I got Zoom. Zoom is free, guys. Okay, so you can go over there. You can start a Zoom call, and anybody you want in your call, all you do is send them a link. They click on that, and they're in the call. If they've got video, if they got a webcam and audio and stuff, that all comes through right away. Thanks, Christine. Thanks for putting that in there. See you, Techno Hippie. Thanks for being here. Hey, third time, what's happening? H, what's up? Yes, very much so, Verte. OBS and Zoom, they work like, oh my gosh. Especially when Zoom added I'm drawing a blank. An audio plug. A virtual audio plug. And anybody that does YouTube probably knows what that is. Those that don't probably have no clue. Okay, so I'm not really going to talk about it, but they did add an audio port there, and it makes it really easy to bring in Zoom to OBS and have all the audio and video there. It's really cool. Actually, guys, anybody that's listening to me that runs a channel, OBS has put out an update today. It's 27.1, and they're actually integrating YouTube into it even further. It's pretty cool. See you, Tanya. Bozy howdy ho. Heck yeah, heck yeah. What's up, D? Yeah, and that's the danger, D, of other channels or anybody that comes out here and starts screaming, right? And that's why I try not to do that. But I will say this. It is a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I've said that a bunch. But even looking at, where was that at? When you look at this stuff is during a normal sun cycle. Okay? They expect these things to happen. So if we do catch a bigger one, yeah. Hey, Arizona, what's up? That's okay. What tracking apps? For tracking what? As far as tracking CMEs and stuff like that, you can put shortcuts on your phone to all the stuff I just showed you guys. But if you're looking for like an alert, to give you an alert, there's actually quite a bit. But I do believe that Spaceweather.com here, they have a service they'll send you an alert to. Let me look. I'm pretty sure they do. I have to find it, but you can sign up for alerts. I don't think it costs any money either. A better person to ask for alert stuff would be Marfugel. He's got a lot of alert apps and stuff that he uses. I'm not sure if he posts those in his description or not. I would assume that he probably does. But yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Wild Angel. When it hits us, is it huge amounts of radiation? It just depends, guys. When you talk about X-ray, that is radiation, right? And when we talk about cosmic rays, that's the main danger there. Cosmic rays comes from the cosmos, right? So I got a little diagram. I can't pull it up right now, but they hit when the cosmic rays hit our atmosphere, they actually start splitting into muons and neurons. And the muons is really what, will get you. That's what the radiation is. But yeah. So yeah. The 70s? Heck yeah. I was 5. I was born in 75. So yeah. Guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut it. I got to take my daughter to the doctor here in a little while. I'm fighting some sickness myself. So any prayers would be welcomed for sure. Also, guys, please, let me do this real quick. If you guys haven't been over to the lifeboat, I would really, really appreciate it if you could come over and give us a chance over here. If you know anybody that's struggling with addiction, or if you yourself are struggling with addiction, please come over there. We really do try to help over there, guys. Hey, Body and Soul. Thank you. But check out, like I said, guys, check out the lifeboat. I just put I'll paste it in there again. it's such a great thing over there. It becomes family immediately, just like we are here. It is, it's helping people already. There's one in particular video over there right now that I think everybody really should go watch that can really give you a good idea of what's happening over there. It's called Saying Goodbye to My My Best Friend. And yeah, and essentially what it is they encourage people that's been through addiction, because it's much like this. You know, you really do feel like you're losing a family member or a best friend. So they encourage people to write a goodbye letter. And that's what this video is. So if you, please go. I shared it on my community tab yesterday. I'll probably share it again today. I would appreciate if you guys, anybody can understand that stuff, right? And it will give people a good idea what the channel's about. You know, it's not Spaceweather, guys, at all. All right? It is about addiction and all that kind of thing. But that video in particular, one of the subscribers, one of the crew member over there, wrote one, sent it in to Tommy, which he's the one that runs the channel, and Tommy read the letter. And yeah, I'd be sitting here lying to you if I told you I didn't have no tears on my face, because that definitely, it's amazing how that can really touch people. So, hey Trish, what's up? So please go over there and check it out. Hey Joanna. So please go check out the lifeboat. I'll put it down here again. And I know that, you know, I just, I don't know what to say sometimes, because I support people like Mark and Tommy because it's a positive thing. And I wish I could just sit here and just scream it all day long. But eventually that falls on deaf ears, and I don't want that to happen. So please just support that way if you could. Go check it out. Don't be afraid to share it on your Facebook and stuff either, because this isn't nothing like that is like you're just sharing somebody's thoughts on how they were viewing their drug. That's all it is. And it's really touching. So I would really hope that everybody, you know, that particular video, when I did send it out, it got a really pretty good spike in views. And more people that can hear those kinds of things, the more people it's able to help. And that's my whole point there. So please, if you could, go over and check that one out. And check out the rest of the channel. The comment section is something I've never seen before in my entire life. You know, when you're getting almost as many comments as you are views, something different's happening there. That means people are communicating. That's what that means. You won't see a comment section lit up like this one anywhere else on the net. So that's what I would say. Plus, he's doing live streams whenever he can now too. So you get immediate interaction. So it's good. That's all I can say. I don't know what else to say. I'm helping him. I'm trying to help him the best I can in the background. I'm trying to make thumbnails for him and trying to dress up the channel a little bit to make it appealing to more people than just what we've gotten there so far. So that's kind of the goal there. And the whole goal at the end of the day is to help people. So, yeah. But anyway, guys, I am going to go ahead and end it. I'm going to put this, and again, show Mark some love too over there, Mark Pires. I'm not sure what he's going to do as far as the future of his show. If he's just going to change the format of it or if he's going to keep it the way it is, that's up to him. And he needs to make the decision for himself. He just needs us to be there for him. That's it. Okay? So, yeah. Anyway, guys. Well, thanks. Thanks, Cindy. We like having you here. Yes, please leave a comment after the show. That does help get the video out. Most definitely will help with the algorithm, getting the video out. Most definitely. Hey, Bonnie and Soul. Yep. So, I do have to go. Linda, Joanne, everybody else that's here, I appreciate you for stopping in. I'll try to give you guys updates if something happens. But, anyway, guys, God bless. Yahusha saves. And you can drink this Kool-Aid.